Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Chantex Multimedia Live streaming directly to your device all the way from Brisbane. And this is leading on to the weekend. Of course, we know this is going to be a big weekend looking at Valentine's Day. We'll bring you a special program on that. Hey, before we go, I must let you know that tomorrow we'll be on live at 2 p.m. Because tomorrow is a very important day. We are celebrating the anniversary of the Apology Day, and that is happening at 9:30 a.m. If you haven't registered, you can still do so, and that is done via Queensland Multicultural Council. And it is very important that when we live in this land, Australia, we recognize, uphold and appreciate the values, especially of our First Nations people. So it is very important. We are all allowed to practice our customs, traditions, but we have come here to this land, we have adopted this land, but we must always respect the traditions and the customs of this land itself, and hence through Queensland Multicultural Council every year we host the National Apology Day, but of course we know that it's going to be spread over a few days. There's quite a few functions happening through Queensland Multicultural Council. Our event is held at Goel Adams Park in Kingston. If you haven't registered, you'll have to register because of COVID-19, so you'll need to be registered to enter. You can still do so. Just find that on Facebook and or Eventbrite, you will find our event there. So and we'll talk about that as well. So we'll bring to you the coverage of tomorrow's event on Saturday, which will be the weekend edition, and in the weekend edition we will cover that. We'll bring you clips from that. But yesterday was the Queensland branch of Order of Australia Media Association and their lunch. So today we'll bring glimpses of that, and it is a wonderful function and event which happened yesterday, and it's an exclusive coverage by Brisbane Indian Times and Australian Indian Radio, and brought to you via Chantex Multimedia streaming services. But right now let's take a look at what the weather has in store for us, and with that let's welcome Dilraj.
Good morning everyone. Weather forecast for the rest of today is maximum 29 degree. Brisbane area is partly cloudy with a slight chance of shower. Light winds becoming easterly 15 to 20 km per hour in the middle of the day and then becoming light in the evening. Fire danger is low to moderate. Sun protection is recommended till 4 p.m. and UV index is predicted to reach 13, that is extreme. Till tomorrow, stay safe and enjoy the rest of your day.
And thank you very much for that, Dilraj. As we now, regardless of all the conditions, we always need to be very, very careful into what we do and how we go about getting out. The sun still does burn, so sun protection is always recommended. Well, right now, if we're going to look at what's happening here in Australia, let's very quickly take a look at some of the news, breaking news, before we go into the two features for today. The first one is the Queensland branch of Order of Australia Medal Association and their lunch, which took place yesterday at Kedron Weibel RSL in Chermside. And then, of course, our weekly feature, the very important travel updates with Oz, India, and Tanvi will be joining us for that. But first of all, headlines for today.
Stories on ABC News. James Packer's company Consolidated Press Holdings has severed ties with Crown's board after terminating its contract with board member John Poynton. Mr Poynton was the last remaining CPH appointee on Crown's board following the resignations of Guy Jalland and Michael Johnston. A damning report into Crown found the company is not fit to hold a licence for its new Sydney casino. The South Australian government has flagged its intention to bring in a hard border with Victoria from midnight tonight, as two more people linked to the Holiday Inn at Melbourne Airport tested positive to COVID-19. The infections are a quarantine worker and a resident who left the hotel on February the 7th, bringing the total cluster to 8. The hotel has been closed. The High Court has upheld a law keeping convicted terrorist Abdul Benbrika in jail beyond his sentence. Benbrika has served 15 years in prison after being convicted of running a terrorist organisation. In a 5-2 decision, the court found the law is valid. Benbrika's Australian citizenship was cancelled last year, meaning that even if he won the case, he would not necessarily win freedom. And in tennis, Novak Djokovic is through to the third round at the Australian Open after a tough 4-set win over American Francis Canadian Solana.
So, ladies and gentlemen, that's the news update for this morning. But, there's a few other things that I'd like to touch on. Number one is, as we know, yesterday was when we brought to you all the real estate update with Usha Chandra of GlobeNet Realty. And because of the updates, we know that we've also talked about the low interest rate. But what's happening with the mortgage and where are we headed with that? Could there be danger signs?
I'm off to a business meeting. It's with a potential client who I've been talking to recently.
If Nikki Abercrombie can't secure a new client for her struggling small business events company, drastically damaged by the COVID crisis, she may risk losing her home.
I've just been reflecting on the last year and all the hustling that we've had to do to get in new business and just understand the new world. We're really showing them what the digital marketing side of things.
She's feeling the pressure of her 2 upcoming deadlines.
I think that will have some stress because of the timing. There'll be no overlap with the deferral and JobKeeper ending. I've got some houses here and I'm running out of money, so I could either sell my house or mortgage.
730 first met Nikki last July as thousands of Australians like her grappled with their home loan repayments.
The reason I deferred my mortgage payments was just to make sure I was managing my cash flow. So immediately I needed to look at day-to-day budgets to help the business keep running and help us keep running as a family.
The crisis crippled her business. She was doing everything she could to keep the wolves from the door. So, are you at the point now where you might have to go without life insurance?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to think about that, but yeah.
But selling the only home her son had known was then the last resort.
I feel like I could let it go if I had to, but it's not ideal. I'd like to keep everything the same.
6, and I'll give you $1,000.
7 months later, the economic mood has lifted. Money is cheap and the real estate market is still accelerating. There were 40% more new owner-occupant loans last December than the year before. It means 81% of mortgages are now back on track and making repayments. But that leaves 82,000 Australians who aren't paying back their home loans, leaving them caught between a rising property market and the banks, whose charity might soon run out.
Report there from ABC, as we know that it is a vicious cycle and it goes round in cycles. So we will keep an eye on that situation. As we know, the interest rates are on hold, and what they talked about, the property prices, they're still holding very high. The demand is very high, so the number of approvals that took place there are also very high as well. So that is, a wonderful news that the many people who were thought might not be able to make their repayments are actually indeed making their repayments. So, it is going to be tough decisions, but it is actually happening. Well, right now, let's go to Western Australia, where the Premier says there will have to be a lot more jobs and is also looking at the casino situation.
No, I don't think so. Look, I'll tell you as much as I know about this. This has been an inquiry that's been going on for a fair period of time, mainly into the activities in the eastern states, with some evidence arising about what may have occurred in Western Australia. So there's a full inquiry that has gone on, a judicial inquiry I think it's been, and we've obviously been awaiting the outcomes of that judicial inquiry before such time as we deal with it, before such time as we put measures in. Now, State Solicitors is currently looking at the outcomes of that inquiry and will provide advice as soon as possible to the Gaming and Wagering Commission on the legal aspects and the views of the State Solicitor as to what could or should be done. The Gaming and Wagering Commission will then report to Government on what should happen. Obviously, we have no tolerance for criminality or for any sort of inappropriate conduct going on in the casino. The casino itself, we have one. It's in a privileged position. By law, it's mandated we have one privileged position. They can operate all sorts of gambling activities no one else can. And the natural responsibility of the operator is therefore to do the right thing. If you are in that privileged position, you have the responsibility to do the right thing. And I think that's what everyone would expect. So we'll examine the outcomes and make further decisions in the future about what should happen. But I just make one point. There are 5,500 people who work at the casino. We obviously have to take into account their interests going forward in terms of what happens. You don't...
5,500 people working in that casino, so obviously the job security and the job prospects of all those needs to be taken into account, and of course the onus is on the operators as well to do the right thing. As he mentioned, see, if everyone does the right thing, they do have the monopoly. That's only one casino there, so 5,500 people who are employed via that. So that's a big, they are in a privileged position, but of course they are providing that kind of employment there as well.
GlobeNet Realty. GlobeNet Realty has been the longest established, trusted and respected agency in its trade area. Washa Chandra, Director of GlobeNet Realty, provides honest and ethical service to her customers. If you are thinking of investing in Brisbane real estate market, or if you are seeking professional property management, then you should contact Usha Chandra today on landline 3865 4466 or mobile 0419 775 416. And for further updates, log on to our website www.globenetralty.com.au. GlobeNet Realty is your own local real estate agency. Situated at Shop 52281 Sandgate Road, Boondall. GlobeNet Realty. Real estate is our world.
And real estate is the world. And right now for the exclusive coverage of yesterday's Order of Australia Association and their lunch ceremony which took place at the Cadron Bible RSL in Kitty Hawk Drive. Let's take a look at the proceedings of the day and see what actually took place. Remember, this is an exclusive coverage of Australian Indian Radio and Brisbane Indian Times, brought to you via Chentex Multimedia live stream. So the Cadron Bible RSL, is quite a nice venue. Last year we held the Gopya function there as well, and the room was full, over 200 people.
Is this Rhonda?
Yes, Rhonda.
Yes,
she is
the
secretary looking after most of the things that happens in the background. And it was wonderful to see so many people. And yesterday I was conferred the life membership of the association, so it was quite a honor for me.
Thanks very much. It's wonderful to see everyone here. And just been invited to say a little prayer of thanks, or grace. I'm sure none of us would be here apart from other people being with us and supporting us along the way. So I've made up a little grace to recognise a lot of the people in our lives, and I'm also going to sing it. So I'm going to sing this little grace along to the melody of Michael Row the Boat Ashore. So it ends up every line. There's an hallelujah at the end of it. So I'm going to ask you to say hallelujah. So you've got to participate. You've got to sing for your supper, see? So if you just sing for your supper. Us and all those that are associated with us. Bless this food and bless this wine. Hallelujah. Bless our staff who help us dine. Hallelujah. Bless our friends and families too. Hallelujah. Bless all we work with in what they do. Hallelujah. Bless our troops serving overseas. Bless our nation, we pray displease. Now bless us, Lord, as we dine and toast. Through the Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. Thank you all. God bless you.
And that was quite a different, blissful grace.
To the Queen.
It is uplifting to see you all together here on this occasion, cognizant of COVID separation. Each awardee has previously received in the mail a note of congratulations. On behalf of the members of the Queensland branch of the Order of Australia Association, I can now personally congratulate you all on your awards in the 2020 Australia Day and Queen's Birthday honours. We are delighted that your outstanding achievements have been acknowledged with such an award, and we extend our best wishes to you, your family and friends. Finally, after enforced pandemic constraints, we could hold this event, a memorable lunch reception to celebrate your endeavours. In 1975, Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II approved the establishment of the Order of Australia. It celebrates the outstanding achievements and contributions of Australians excelling in a diverse range of fields and areas of endeavour. It is about recognising those people in our community whose service and contributions have had the effect of making a significant difference in Australian life, or more broadly, to humanity at large. Of Australia represent the best of the Australian character. Most are volunteers in some areas of need who seek no remuneration or award. Later you will hear of the exceptional contributions that our 2020 awardees with us today have made to our society. To my mind, you are the glue which sticks our great society together. Your contributions are such as to weld our communities together. We are a greater nation for your contribution to it. The Governor-General, as Chancellor, approves recognition and levels of award based on recommendation and independently appointed broadly representative advisory body that meets twice a year. Australia Day and the Queen's birthday are the two occasions on which the Order of Australia awards are made. Anyone can nominate a living Australian or permanent resident for an award. Recipients are people from all spheres of the community, and this will become evident when Dr. Beck reads the citations a bit later. We ask you in turn to think about submitting an application on behalf of your fellow Australians for such an honour. The Order of Australia Association Queensland branch, which is hosting this event today, is a voluntary membership of Order of Australia recipients. Our national OAA membership and network is over 8,000. The order has been presented to approximately 39,000 times since its inception in 1975. Thus, with a population of over 25 million, just 0.1% of the population have an Order of Australia. Expressed another way, one living person in 1,100 is an Order of Australia recipient. Our awardees are rare indeed. Special Australians. Thank you. Enjoy each other's company. It's great to be an Australian.
To finally be able to welcome and honour the 2020 recipients at last, after the terrible year we had last year. It's so pleasing to see you here today. I might cover a couple of things that Gary read. Political influence. Nominations from national honours are not made from the top down. In our egalitarian Australian way, nominations in the Order of Australia come directly from the Australian community that has benefited from the service of the nominees. After the nominees are assessed by our 19 independent citizens for that purpose, Council makes its recommendations directly to the Governor-General, who's the Chancellor of the Order, who approves.
And each and every recipient were recognised and the citations were read.
Queensland branch, members of
Our ex-Commissioner of Police,
fellow award recipients, ladies and gentlemen.
Ian Stewart, responding on our behalf. Ian Stewart is OIM APM. APM stands for Australian Police Medal.
In this place, I pay my respects to all. I am truly honoured to respond to my old friend Ross Patching, former police officer, who proposed the toast to the recipients. And thank you, Ross, for this kind gesture and your kind comments. Today's event would not have occurred without the existence of the Order of Australia Association. On behalf of the 2020 recipients present here today,
I thank you for your efforts on behalf of all Australians, and in particular for this wonderful gathering hosted by our very own Queensland branch. My fellow recipients, I ask you to join me in thanking the Association by acclamation. The invitation to today's luncheon brought back the excitement I experienced when first receiving advice of the award. The subsequent publication of the honours list, and of course the thrill each recipient enjoys at the formal investiture ceremony. All memorable occasions, made even more so by the accompanying well wishes from family, friends, colleagues, community and political leaders. The logistics of our COVID-adjusted personal involvement, but enjoyable nonetheless. As I am sure all in this room would agree, no one sets out in life seeking acknowledgement or reward of any kind, let alone that provided by the order of us, are imbued with one specific quality, an inherent desire to help others. The objects of their desire, I am humbled to be part of their company, your company.
And so that, ladies and gentlemen, was the coverage from the Order of Australia lunch yesterday, and the last speaker there was obviously, our last Commissioner of Police, and Ian Stewart, and a wonderful gentleman, wonderful to be sharing this stage and award and the recognition in line with him as well. And there were other recipients who could not make it there yesterday, but as he spoke very well. He responded on behalf of all of us. So he is Ian Stewart, OIM IPM as well. IPM stands for Australian Police Medal as well. So right now we're going into the other feature for today, but before we do that, let's take a quick look at
Hi everyone, this is Tanvi Goel, PR of GoPio Queensland.
And I'm Umesh Chandra.
GoPio Queensland invites you to India Day Fair fundraising gala dinner.
Get ready for a fun-filled evening of mesmerizing music with delicious food.
Raffles, auctions and some special surprises.
And you can dress in your Indian attire or come with your formal attire.
And tickets are limited, so please book immediately to prevent any disappointment.
And you can book via Eventbrite, and the link is www.eventbrite.com.au/India Day Fair fundraising.
Thank you to all our sponsors. Our platinum sponsors are Springfield City Group and New Style Developments.
And our gold sponsors are Dream Style Decorators and Bipel.
And silver sponsors are Rise, Sleep Health and Professionals and Gora Travel.
And very special thanks to Brisbane City Council, MP Peter Russo, ECCQ and MP Miss Leanne Leonard.
And also our exclusive media partners, Brisbane Indian Times and Australian Indian Radio.
And for a fun-filled night, raising much-needed funds for GoPio's India Day Fair. See you all there.
Thank you.
And ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to the weekly travel update with Oz India Travel. And with that, we'd like to welcome once again Tanvi. Tanvi, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Umesh. Thank you, everyone. Once again, today is our 17th episode. Oh my God. I remember last time Umesh said sweet 16, and I thought he was telling about me, but was not.
Of course, that was about you, but this today is our 17th episode.
Yes, it is. So thank you for overwhelming response. I got a lot of questions as well last week. People asking about Valentine's Day. So definitely we're going to talk about that as well. Guys, before we go ahead, I would like to inform you all that any information we share today is general information only. For all up-to-date information, please check government's relevant websites, or you can contact us as well, because the rules and regulations may change anytime.
And quite rightfully said, as rules and regulations keep changing, you need to keep up to date with all the current information, which is very informative, and they always keep changing as well. Now, one point I'll mention here, that all this information that's been provided comes in really, really handy, because in the weekend I had to make an emergency trip to Sydney, and I could see firsthand the importance of knowing what's happening at this point in time. Because the traveling at this point in time of history, it is not the same as your normal everyday travel. So, you need to keep up to date. So these are all the points that have been discussed here are very important, especially if you're traveling around these times. And as Tanvi has said, that whatever said here is as general information only. Everyone's individual cases will differ. And if you are traveling, you will need to get your up-to-date advice as well. So, Tanvi, moving on, what is the main update for this week?
Before we go ahead, Umesh, I would like to say happy journey to everyone who are flying today from Melbourne, and also those who are flying from Sydney on 13th of February, and also everyone flying through Emirates throughout the week. So a very happy journey to you all. I hope you all or your family have a fantastic trip back home, and they stay safe. And also, guys, how can I forget that the Valentine's Day coming in a few days? So a very happy advance Valentine's Day to you all, to your loved ones, to your family. And yes, guys, you can celebrate this day with anyone, of course, your loved ones. It can be family members too. And today, definitely, since it's Valentine's Day coming, I like to go through a few things which you guys can do over the weekend. Since it's still, you can't go overseas, but definitely there are so many amazing options in our backyard, guys, even within the state or nearby your city, or you go, it's Australia-wide, pretty much you can fly these days. So, yes, there are quite a few options, and I would like to really go through with you. So guys, first of all, you can take any short tours if you would like to through our website as well. You can just quickly go to www.ausindiatravel.com.au. You will see there's an option says Australia short tours. There are hundreds of tours you can take instantly for anywhere, any city, be it Gold Coast or Brisbane, Perth, Adelaide. So just to give you an idea, a little tip where you can go. So those who are in Brisbane, you can take maybe a cruise, little Brisbane River cruise. You can go to the theme parks. You can go to Caribbean Sanctuary in Gold Coast, or those who love the haunting thing, you can take your loved one to the Dragulas. That's amazing. Or you can take a Sydney attraction pass. You can go to Darling Harbour for amazing cruises. You can go to Star Observation Deck. You can go, Great Ocean Road, those who are in Melbourne. And there are heaps of options available, guys, for Hobart, Perth, Adelaide, or anywhere, little towns of Australia as well. So please go through all that, and I'm sure there are so many options you can go through. For those who want to, see something like an old kind of or romantic place, especially our senior couples and some younger one as well, there's a very amazing property I came across. First of all, this property is like 86 years old, guys. So I would say, like, for my grandfather, probably, our grandfather must have seen that place. And this place called Yamba, they are just 3 hours south of Brisbane and 7 hours from north of Sydney. So their even room prices start just $69. But I was just watching in some of the news is that they are really doing amazing, especially for Valentine's Day. So I think you might just go, and they have amazing view. Guys, let me tell you, they are called like the best pub with the best view all around Australia. And very, very cheap as well. So this is really amazing place, especially those who are in Queensland and New South Wales. You can check out this option. I have another good news for the people in Sydney. There is a place called Sydney Wildlife Retreat. That's at Tauranga. they have done a romance upgrade, they call it, which is amazing. These guys got the most romantic getaways in Sydney, and they got the on the occasion for Valentine's Day. And the Jew has launched a romance upgrade, basically they call it. So they are available for booking classic and ultimate retreat packages for stays for Valentine's Day weekend, which start from 12th. That means just from tomorrow. So I think they still have some seats left for that. So generally their price for room, guys, in weekdays starts around $455, but I'm sure on weekends they're a little dearer, so you might have to pay over $500. And those who have even made the booking, seems they are upgrading those for Valentine's Day special for just $95 per room. How cool is that? And also, guys, this includes your cocktails on arrival, an intimate adult-only sunset tour into the zoo to hear tales of some wild mates, and the heartwarming surprises to compensate or give you amazing views, and it's making it very, very special occasion. So I would definitely highly recommend you to check out those places. And there are some more. If you just Google it, you'll find so many amazing places. So I thought I'll just give you a little overview and really, kind of remind you, especially boys, you generally don't remember. Girls have to literally push like I do for my husband that, we should do something on the weekend. And guys, you don't have any excuse because this time it's falling on Sunday. Happy. So, okay. So these are just little tips for you all. Now let's be a little bit serious and tell you some serious news. Very first one, I'll start with the COVID-19 immunization and how and what the federal government is doing, which is really an amazing initiative. So the federal government is in the final stages of developing a vaccine certificate platform which would provide proof of COVID-19 immunization recognized by other countries to help facilitate most post-pandemic travel. Federal Government Services Minister Stuart Robert yesterday detailed about enhancement to the MyGov portal and also Express Plus Medicare app to verify these immunizations via the Australian immunization registrar. So that means, because as we mentioned in last week as well, that there are other countries opening up for those who are taking COVID-19 immunizations, those who are taking doses, especially 1 or 2. So it's really good to see that our country and Australian government is also, putting all these things in place, which means whenever things opens up, we are good to go. And I'm sure because things are, if they add to the MyGov and all these amazing platforms, then we will be welcomed by other countries as well. Which is amazing to see. Now, I have another news for those who are in Brisbane. So I would say, amazingly, this time Brisbane is a little bit more lucky because Brisbane has some great news around. So there is a property, maybe you must have heard, a Hotel Indigo Brisbane Fortitude Valley. And they are going, guys, to the luxury segment this time. So you might heard them as saying as IHG as well, but they are basically called Hotel Indigo Brisbane Fortitude Valley. And the new built-up hotel will offer extravagant interior design with premium amenities, including a rooftop pool bar and an interactive lighting facade. So you can imagine having, the rooftop pool. Oh my God, I can't imagine. I'm definitely gonna go once it's done. So that's really amazing news for those who are around Brisbane, guys. And I saw another news from Victoria. So there was a new little survey done by Victoria. So there is something called Roy Morgan Snap SMS survey. These guys have done a survey just to know that what Victorians want. And as per their survey, 60% of Victorians said they still want to be, called as a current state of emergency to last until at least till December. So they don't want much things to be opened up, just for your information, because still it's not confirmed what government gonna do. But it's just a little survey which says that Victoria might not be open completely till December. That's what majority of people want. So just for your information. Now, I have another good news. So that's... And definitely once everything opens up, there are some countries, guys, who are, building so many amazing properties since everything else is quite still right now, especially UAE. So UAE is leading the pipeline of future hotel, and you will be surprised to know that they are doing development in some of the properties, and the number is around 173. So how cool is that? So 117 properties in UAE is under construction at this stage, according to a new top hotel construction report. And followed with that, Saudi Arabia said around 156 and Qatar 42. So yeah, that's really amazing news that whenever things opens up, we'll have a lot more options coming up. And I got one more news from the Hawaii Tourism Authority. So since Hawaii is another very cool destination close to Australia where a lot of people even go on weekends and really want to go. And I came across this news and I was like so excited to share with you all. So Hawaii Tourism Authority has launched 2021 and 2023. They call it Hawaii Destination Management Action Plan, which aims to improve the visitor experience of holidaymakers. The initiatives outlined include a greater investment in Hawaiian cultural programs, new policies to address over-tourism, the creation of new education materials for visitors, etiquette, and reduction of island traffic. So you can imagine that they are really planning up so many things, and Hawaii government is doing a lot of cultural programs as well, and trying to make sure that you guys are safe, and got actually 2 years action plan. So I'm sure whenever you go there, it will be really amazing. So these are little bits and pieces updates for you all for now. And I'll be letting you know a bit more details a bit later. Misty.
And thank you very much for that update. Well, of course, romance is in the air. It is February and the weekend is coming. I was quite intrigued by your romance upgrade to Sydney's wildlife retreat at Taronga Zoo. And the package with some tales of wild mating. Wow, amazing. But one of the things you mentioned that it's only for the young ones. So why would that be?
That's right. Look, amazing. Young means young at heart. It doesn't matter, what age you are. Age is just a number, right? So when you see me at 100, I'll be still young. So yeah, don't worry about it, the numbers.
Of course, quite rightfully said that, age is just the numbers. You are young at heart. And if you keep up to date with things, you're quite out there. Well, right now, moving on, and on a serious note, what are the flight options that we have now from Brisbane?
Okay, so guys, from Brisbane, we have a next charter, like I mentioned before as well, that 26th of February, Malindo charter going directly from Brisbane to Delhi, and we are connecting that to all around India as well. And we have options from 15 kilos onwards till 50 kilos, and the fares start $1,099. So that's the only direct charter available from Brisbane at this stage. And if you can't go on 26th February, you want to go before or after, we have quite a few dates, and we have made a lot of connections via Melbourne and Sydney as well. Let me just go through what's the earliest flight you can take. So you can, if you want to have a charter, you can take earliest flight is 19th of February. Then you can take 4th March, 11th March, 13th of March, 25th of March, 27th of March, which means for coming 6 weeks, we have pretty much packaged many flights via Melbourne and Sydney as well. And hopefully we'll have another charter coming from Brisbane directly in March as well. So it should be launched pretty much next week, and we'll definitely update you with that. And if you like to go through Emirates, that's also possible. But Emirates is going with longer hauls. And pretty much for our next coming week, they have only business class available, which is over $6,000. But if you're in emergency, definitely you can fly. So yes, there are quite a few options from Brisbane at this stage, everyone.
It's good to see that there are many options now, and even from Brisbane here as well. Now, before we go to the next question, I'd just like to add on a little bit there, is if people are interested in this, what should they do first? Do they have to register their names to be, put in line for those flights?
No, Umesh, they can we just have to check some documents. So whenever they are ready, they can just give us a call and tell us that what is their condition is. So as we mentioned in last few episodes as well, that we need to check whether they are Australian citizens, whether they are PR, or if they are a student or they are just a tourist going back home. So if someone got the PR citizen, they would need exemption to travel from Home Affairs, or if they are Australian citizen, they would need OCI. And in case they don't have OCI, they can apply for the entry visa from Indian High Commission. So if they want to go, they can just give us a call or message us, and we'll just send them email, and they have to reply us with all the documents, and they just can book it straight away. So there is no other thing they have to do for the booking information.
And thank you very much for that update as well, because many people might not know what to do first. Now, what are the options from Sydney? Because our flight that we took to Sydney, even though we went to the domestic, we had to go to the international because there's a hotel which is attached right to the terminal, so that we could stay there in the night and go in the morning. And looking outside the window, I could see all the area where normally you'd see so many international aircrafts parked there. All I could see was a Delta Airlines out there as well, and it looked pretty sad. But anyway, what are the options from Sydney at this point in time?
So Maisie, we have quite a few flights for 5 to 6 weeks, so pretty much one flight a week. So next one available, if we talk about charters, are 18th February, 27th February, 4th of March, 13th March, 18th March, and 27th March. And guys, I have another news for you, that Vande Bharat mission, so that's Air India flights also launched. We have flight pretty much every Monday. So they are the Vande Bharat mission flights up till 22nd of March. So 15th of February is the next one, then 22nd February, 1st March, 8th March, 15th March. Though their fares start $1,798 for Vande Bharat mission flights. And for charter flights, the fare starts as $1,099. So you can see there's a big difference. But yes, you have quite a few options. You can fly every week pretty much from Sydney at this stage.
So that's again a good news for people from flying out of Sydney. And as we know, when we look at these options, whether you're flying out of Sydney or Brisbane, people can travel locally. So, if someone's missed flight from one place, if they want to come to another, they can do that as well. Right. And now moving on to your favorite, Melbourne. So what are the options from Melbourne at this point in time?
So Melbourne, once again, got so many flights, so there is no problem for flights, especially for next 6 weeks. So next available, I'll tell you, there are some Singapore lines. So we have 3 Singapore lines flight, 19th February, 5th of March, and 19th of March. And if you can take Sri Lankan Airlines, which is a little bit cheaper, especially price point of view, if you see around $100 to $150 difference in price. So next is 18th February, 20th February, 25th February, 6th March, 11th March, 20th March, and 25th March. So there are quite a few flights, and pretty much you have 2 flights a week from Melbourne to India at this stage. Amazing.
Okay, so most of the areas you covered quite well for the next 6 weeks by the looks of it. So, if you have intentions of flying, get in touch ASAP. Well, right now, that covers most of our part of Australia, Brisbane, Sydney, and Melbourne. And now, what about people coming back from India to Australia? What's happening in that area? Any updates there?
After a long time, I can tell you that I'm happy to really discuss this one, because I just saw the update that there are some flights coming, and happily Vande Bharat mission flights has also launched some flights. So just so that you guys can remember it, it's pretty much every Sunday for next 6 weeks from now. So the next available flight, guys, that's Delhi to Sydney on 14th of February, then 21st of February, 28th February, 7th March, 14th March, 21st March. So that's every Sunday for next 6 weeks. For booking that, you have to go on Air India website. Just keep looking for the flights, because we don't know when they're going to open it, when they're going to the flight's going to complete or close. So, or you have to be in contact and see the DFAT as well. Like I always tell you, that you have to register with DFAT if you have not done already, and DFAT will shortlist and send you at least all these details that the Air India flights are coming. But yes, it's really a good thing to see that there are some flight launch. And as per the update I saw, Indian government is pretty much planning to have more flights from India to Australia. Yeah, we can see already 7 flights are in place every Sunday. So please look for that and hopefully you'll get those flights. And if you're not registered yet with DFAT, do so. And don't forget to check the Australians Stuck in India Facebook page, because whoever has booked it and whatever experience they had, they are keep sharing on those Facebook groups. So that will be best source of information for all the flights from India to Australia. Amazing.
And with those flights from India to Australia, what would the quarantine requirements be?
So quarantine requirements is the same once you reach Australia. So let's say these flights are coming to Sydney, you have to do institutional quarantine for 2 weeks, and the cost per person is at least $2,000, so $2,200. And then depending if you are a family of 4, then it would be really cheaper. And I heard there are some options where if you want to apply from government rebate or ask them to pay in installments, these options are there as well, but they will tell you once you reach Sydney. The hotel are decided by government that once you reach, they are sending you to their own hotels. I don't think so you have option to choose it, but definitely they are institutional quarantine for 2 weeks once you reach Australia.
Well, that's again a good news there, that if you come and the government is there prepared and they will take you to whichever the suitable location, and of course some of the states it might differ a little bit. So there are so many things like that people need to do. So what are your tips for people traveling at this point in time, including the quarantine, of course, which we discussed?
Okay, so first of all, I would say, Amazing, since there are flights from India to Australia at this stage, I would say the first step would be, guys, those who have people stuck in India or you are stuck in India, please keep checking Air India website every few hours, because we don't know when they are going to open it, and if you're lucky, you'll be able to open it and just book it. So please keep checking that. And other one, you can still check the Emirates flights, but please check how many hours they are, stopping, because all the Emirates flights are pretty much going with longer hauls. I have seen in some instances where we send quotations to the passengers and it says 16 hours, 30 minutes, but some people write 6 hours. So please make sure you have read it correctly. And I want to clarify one more thing, guys, here is please don't think that airlines is differentiating between Australian citizens and Indian citizens. Nothing like that. It's just those who are Australian citizens getting hotel from airlines, because the Australian citizens don't need visa for UAE. And Indian citizens are given lounges free of cost inside the airport, just because they cannot go. For going outside, you need a visa for it. So I've got some instances and heard from some people, they are saying, the airlines and government is differentiating with us. They're giving to Australian citizens, not to Indian citizens. So please understand, they are not differentiating. It's just the rule. Emirates pretty much have hotels outside the airport. That's why they can take only Australian citizens. So but if you are going with Emirates, since these days it's going okay, and we can apply the hotel and lounges for you without any issues. But please check that most of the flights are reaching Delhi or India from Brisbane or any part you go from Australia to India, pretty much around 34 hours to, it can go up to 54 hours as well. So definitely it's there. And also, seems there are some of you still confused whether you have to take COVID test 96 hours prior to departure or 72 hours before departure. Guys, remember, it has to be 72 hours before departure. It doesn't matter which city you are flying from. And it's always the time starts from your international flight. So, for example, you're flying from Brisbane in the morning, 8 o'clock, and your flight from Sydney or Melbourne is at 9 o'clock. Then don't consider it's 9 p.m. 8 a.m. from Brisbane. You have to calculate the time from your international flight, which is, for example, in this case, 9 p.m. from Sydney. So that's something which so many people get confused. And as I always mention and have seen once again the same mistake people doing, please, book your domestic flights when you get the final clearance from your charter company or wherever you have booked. We generally recommend to book the domestic flight whenever you have to take the charter flights. Sorry, my bad. So what I mean to say is, whenever you book the charter flight, international one, you have and you need a domestic flight as well. For example, you are flying Brisbane to Sydney, Sydney to Delhi, and you have bought Sydney to Delhi flight. If you are thinking to book Brisbane to Sydney yourself, please check with your agent first whether that flight is still going on time, because every charter flight mostly gets state approval 5 to 10 days before the flight departure. And in that time, sometimes they may do a date change or they can do a little bit reschedule. So if you're not booking that, your domestic flight in package, and you have booked your domestic flight before, that means if the time changes, you have to pay for the difference and it may be additional cost to you. So please, this is also one of the very important tip I would give you. Either you book a domestic flight packaged with your charter flight, or you book it little bit days before after checking with your agent so you don't lose your money. Nothing else, and please don't get confused. Once again, I've seen some passengers got confused with the PNR number, which is on self-reporting form or your international tickets. So I clarified that last week as well, and clarifying once again for you. So PNR is different when you have repatriation flights, Emirates or Air India, and in all charter flights, you never have any PR number, because charter flights are manual. And PR number in self-reporting form is a different number. They call it PNR. It's separate than your airline's PNR number. So it's totally different. But if you still have any questions, you can always call us and we're there for you. So that's about it. And once again, I would like to tell you all, if you have any questions, you can always call us. And very proud to say, doesn't matter you have booked with us or not, we are there for you. You can message us on our hotline 040-440 3264. You can jump on our website www.ausindiatravel.com.au. We have a little callback option there as well. You can send us your questions on our website or on our Facebook. And don't forget to share this video if you liked and you feel it's got any value. So please share with your family and friends. And you can go through our all last 16 episodes as well on Australian Indian Radio, Brisbane Indian Times, their YouTube pages, or our page as well on our Aus India Travel. And if you have any question, you can always message on the same video, or you can give us a call. So we are always there for you. Mesty.
Thank you very much for that wonderful update as well. On that matter of discrimination, I think it was quite good that you've clarified the difference there between the requirements of Australian citizens and Indian citizens. So it is that requirement and the visa requirements and the things that are covered by one passport and not the other. So it's not the discrimination as people might think. So that is a very, very good point there. Well, thank you very much for the update. And ladies and gentlemen, thanks so much for joining in. And once again, as Tanvi has mentioned, that if you'd like to, go back to any of the episodes, they're all there. So don't forget that we've got the YouTube channel as well, which is Australian Indian Radio's YouTube. And of course, a few of our Facebook pages and accounts. You can find all the episodes there, all 16 of them, all there. So once again, thank you so much, Tanvi, for this wonderful update, very relevant and very timely, and that's why we keep doing this every week, because there are so many things that are happening and changing. Now I can say that I have traveled. I mean, it is only a small domestic flight, but even then you get to see firsthand what's sort of happening out there. So it is very important, all the things that you're saying there. Well, until next time, is goodbye from us, and don't forget the Valentine's retreat. And of course, if you are in Sydney, don't forget Sydney's wildlife retreat for adults only at Taronga Zoo, the Wild Mates. Wow, I like that.
Great.
So ladies and gentlemen, with that, we need to say goodbye. And it's been wonderful having your company as usual. And don't forget that tomorrow we are coming in at 2 p.m. because tomorrow morning we have the anniversary of the National Apology Day organized by Queensland Multicultural Council, and I would like to see as many of you there as possible. And if you haven't registered, you can still do so. Just jump onto our website, go to Eventbrite and search for Queensland Multicultural Council, and you'll find you'd like to see you all there. If not, we'll bring to you the report from there on Saturday. So until then, it's goodbye from me. Enjoy the rest of the day, but most important, remain safe.